Hello everyone. Today we learn first unit of grade 10 English Cbse footprint without feet books, a triumph of surgery. This story tells us a recovery story of Tricky. Tricky is a pet dog of Mrs. Pumphrey. She used to feed it so much that he had put on so much of weight. It was a very worrying condition, bad condition, that he was found by Mr. Herriot, that is the doctor of that area, who used to watch Tricky and Pumphrey having short walks and having their time and all. And one day when he noticed he is overgrown, he suggested Mrs. Pumphrey not to feed him much and take diet for him, and then take him for walks and give him serious exercises. Mrs. Pumphrey, who was very fond of Tricky, and she used to feed him so much cakes, cream cakes, bowl of Horlicks and cod liver oil, everything whatever possible from her to keep him fluffy, and she used to think that he was healthy that way. But very shortly Tricky was sick and Dr. Herriot was called. Then he made up his plan and he went to collect Tricky from his house. There he had seen he was in pitiful condition, and he suggested Mrs. Pumphrey to admit him for a fortnight and let him treat there itself in his surgery. She agreed, since Tricky was not eating anything and he was in pitiful condition, and she has sent every belonging of him, his cushion mats and his favorite toys and his clothes according to the weather which he has to wear, and so much other things which are very needed for him according to Mrs. Pumphrey. His car was completely filled up with the things of Tricky, and Tricky was beside him, and Mr. Herriot started moving towards his hospital, that is surgery. He had been there and put Tricky on the ground. All other dogs who were already there in his surgery just took a round and sniffed him and neglected him and moved on. For 2 days he was not given anything except for water, and the third day he started whining. He made some noises and he started moaning as he was hungry. He started mingling with other dogs in the surgery and went around them, and at the time of meal, after everyone completed, he started licking their bowls. That was the indication that after 2 days of completely fasting, he had now felt hungry. So he was given little food, and all these things were reported to Mrs. Pumphrey. She was so happy that he is recovering. So she started bringing eggs, wine, brandy, etc. to take care of his health and again to make him fit and fine. Of course, that was a feast for the narrator, that is Herriot, and his team, who were also enjoying the egg, wine and brandy. They used to eat 2 eggs every day in the morning, and then they used to have their lunch with wine and dinner with brandy. So they had very good time, and Tricky recovered completely and he was healthy and very active now, and in 15 days time he had changed himself so much. The time has come that he should be sent back to Mrs. Pumphrey, as she'll be upset by leaving him for 15 days. He called her and told to pick him up as he is completely well now. Mrs. Pumphrey had come and she just asked the doctor whether her dog is good or not. Really, has he recovered or not? So I told he is absolutely fine, and he told, you need not to come down, I'll only bring him to you. And he went to bring. While coming back, she has seen her dog was so good in condition, put on his muzzles and all. In 15 days he has become very good looking one. As he has seen Mrs. Pumphrey, he too had jumped on her and licked her and shown his love towards her. While going, Mrs. Pumphrey told doctor that she cannot express her feelings, that she can only say that is the triumph of surgery.